Alright, folks, it's turn 15, and things are looking slightly up. Not fantastically up, but some up. We've retaken the provinces that we agreed we would be retaking. We're moving into 90, which I think he said he left some province defense in. So we're actually moving in with a fairly significant grip of Bandar, who will just go ahead, charge in, and beat people to death. Up here, most of the army is moving up into Zox to secure Zox for the glory of the Federation. We've got 25 archers, which will help against those wolf tribe. We've got some ethereal chaff, which will also help quite a bit. And then we've also got some Bandar warriors, who will just, kind of club people, as they do. Meanwhile, down here, we have got our first Raksha Raja, who we are going to have to rename. Obviously, if our god is DMX, our very first Raksha Raja has to be... Well, really, we have to wait until we have a pair before we can name them appropriately. But he is going to be... His name will be... the non-stop Pop Pop. And his brother Stainless Steel will join us fairly shortly. So the non-stop Pop Pop is going to move up here and site search in Winna. We are one turn away from Blood 3, at which point DMX will stop researching and will begin summoning our good friends, the Angry Ladies, the Asrapas, or the Rapping of Oz. So he'll start doing that until we run out of Blood Slaves. We are blood hunting in Cormark. It's just over 5,000 population. It's a decent target for blood hunting. These blood ones, since I am Lanka and I have the turmoil penalty, will generate 2 extra blood slaves with every successful hunt, which means they'll be getting 1d6 plus 3 instead of 1d6 plus 1, should be. And of course, our research will be rushing up towards Construction 4 in order to get Sanguine Dousing Rods for them. After that, we'll start focusing on actual battle magic. But that won't come for a little bit here. All these troops we're just going to put back in the capital there. We're also going to send out one of our Yoginis to site search for nature. So we're going to hop a Yogini over there, and actually tell you what, this Yogini will take some undead with him. Not you. Just some random mindless undead. So 2 of these guys are blood hunting, and 1 is actually reanimating soulless, and that's because I can use soulless as free patrollers. It does require using Raktapatas, but of course you're spamming out Raktapatas with all of your might anyway. So a Raktapata or 2 leading soulless can patrol a province for free with no trouble whatsoever, and they don't even cost gems. My gem income, of course, is still abysmal because I haven't done any site searching whatsoever. It is turn 15, and I suck. But since I've gotten a little bit of a reprieve from Utgard, I might suck little enough that I can get back in the game if I can manage to get some of my good buddies to help me. The Throne of Autumn, I actually don't want to claim because it increases death. Mages of Autumn would be nice for the Earth, especially. Like, having access to Earth would be huge, actually. But, Death. Death, though. I'm not a huge fan. As a Blood Nation, I'll claim that in a little bit. Amarutama will get up there one of these turns pretty soon and claim it. But I'm not super eager for it to be immediately. I have 0 gold. I'm recruiting a Raktapata there. Up here, I'm recruiting a few Bandar that I don't actually need to be recruiting. Let's cancel those Bandar and replace them with... Over here, I'm spamming out Markata. That's because even though they're not free, their upkeep is very low, so I can use them as patrollers. Actually, you know what? You know what? Their upkeep is only 1/3 of a gold per turn. I think I'm just going to use them to patrol instead of soulless, so why don't you just blood hunt? Because I could really use more blood slaves. We are recruiting Markata scouts still here. We will use a couple of Markata scouts cycling through here to pick the blood slaves up. We're also recruiting some Atavi chieftains. They're slightly more expensive, but not much. They are also stealthy. Well, it's 20 extra gold, which isn't a whole lot in the scheme of things. And they'll be able to do some good work, one hopes. We'll also pump out some Markata over here. And so when the Atavi chieftain cycles over here with blood slaves, he'll be able to, or the Markata scout, whatever. Once we get an Atavi chieftain over here, or another independent commander, they'll be able to pick up some Markata, shuffle them back, and we'll be able to patrol with yet more of them. Sounds like a plan. We're going to be retaking Iprisia. We'll be taking Zox. Turn after that, we'll take Mapito Cliffs and then Coatl Swamp. This is going to be the border with Utgard, unfortunately so. The question then becomes, and this is going to sound very weird, but the question then legitimately becomes, who do I go to war with? And that sounds weird because I'm in a terrible position, and logically you would think that I wouldn't really want a war right now, but in fact now is exactly when I need a war. Right now, what I need is a war with an ally against a mutual enemy who the ally is in a strong enough position to fight effectively, and all they really need is a little bit of help from their friends. So, if I can provide that little bit of help from their friends, then I could take some provinces and not have to pay much for them. And that, of course, is the ultimate goal, is being able to grow and expand back out to reach some kind of reasonable size. Before turn 24, which is when Utgard can potentially end our non-aggression pact again, assuming that Saramatia isn't beating the hell out of them. Which Saramatia may well be. Broken 25 is very, very good. And get myself back in the game, because I desperately need some land to get myself back in the game. So, there's really, geographically speaking, only one reasonable target for that. I could target Gath. If I got my army up around here, I could potentially attack Gath. But really the target is Niflheim, and that's just a decision that has been made for me by the terrain, by the mountains, essentially. The mountains open up, allowing me to have clear access to Niflheim. I only have one province of access to Tianxi or Gath through the Throne of Autumn. I could potentially fight Shinuyama, but Shinuyama has been a friend to me so far, and I would much rather stay friendly with Shinuyama, especially because Shinuyama desperately wants a friend as well. So it makes a lot more sense for me to be going after Niflheim. Now, that will require me ending a non-aggression pact, but no matter which way I go, I will have to end a non-aggression pact unless it's against Gath, because I don't have any agreements with Althea. Althea doesn't really like non-aggression pacts much. But, on the other hand, Althea is a fairly quiet defensive player, so she will be extremely dangerous in the late game, as always, but she won't be dangerous in the early game necessarily, as long as I can provide some kind of front of some kind of strength. So that being so, I have actually been, let me pause real quick while I pull up Discord again. I have actually been in contact with Tianxi. And Tianxi is talking about attacking Niflheim. Which would mean... yes, so my goal would be to have Tianxi go in against Niflheim, end my non-aggression pact, and then a couple of turns later... oops, sorry, I need to check that my recording is still functioning. Yep, good. I'm paranoid about that. And then a couple of turns later, have me roll in and snake Niflheim's southern provinces. Can't at all plan on getting the capital, but potentially. There's potentially something here. When it comes to Tianxi versus Gath, I think Tianxi... yeah, they pretty much have to come down through here, so that's very predictable. Once again, Niflheim and Tianxi is also the easiest fight, just because that's Niflheim right here. They actually have quite a few border provinces, and this map is fairly enclosed. This map has a lot of choke points. This map has a lot of geography dictating which way you need to go, so I think Niflheim's where I have to go. Now, it's going to be a few turns. Probably I can't launch any attacks before turn 20 at the earliest. What I need is Azrapas. I need to have my summons active. Azrapas, possibly Rakshasa warriors, but in order to do that, that also means that I need to have my blood economy rolling, which means I need to be blood hunting at Prisia and Cormark very heavily. I should probably also blood hunting Winna, and I would love to establish another fort and be blood hunting Hobergdorf as well, because I'll need to build a fort in Yellow Mountains. That's essential. You have to fort your thrones. And I will want to claim the Throne of Autumn at some point here, because Mages of Autumn, super useful. Earth Death Mages, yes. Earth Mages, especially having Earth 2 Mages, which means they can summon Earth Power, and then cast Earth 3 buffs on my troops. Yes, please. For example, Legions of Steel would be quite useful on my Palankasha. It won't help their head, but Legions of Steel, Iron Warriors, not Wooden Warriors. I can already cast Wooden Warriors, and it makes me even more vulnerable to fire than I already am. But Earth buffs in general and Earth Forging are super valuable for Lanka specifically. For example, this guy. normally, Raksha Rajas are merely okay thugs, pretty decent. They have air, they have death, they have good stats. Fine, great. In Turmoil especially, they're solid thugs. If you can stack some Earth-forged equipment or some Earth buffs on them, if you can cast Iron Warriors and Iron Will on Raksha Rajas, then they become quite effective thugs, because now they have 20 natural protection, which kicks their protection up into the stratosphere. Well, not the stratosphere, but you know what I mean, pretty high. Up by 13 natural protection, pushes him up to 24, something like that, 23, 24. And Iron Will makes his magic resistance naturally 20. You layer the Mist Form on top of the higher protection, you layer Mirror Image on top of that, just to make it less likely to hit him. Now you've got something. Plus, with Forging, I can forge Earth items, I can throw Earth summons, Mages of Autumn, very valuable. So we'll need to get those, definitely. Also, of course, a little bit of Earth income, which I don't natively have. So yeah, that's very important. That breaks me into a new and very highly valuable path. I don't have any income, largely because I lost 275 gold in Yellow Mountains this turn, which blows enormous chunks. Incredible, enormous chunks. That misfortune is killing me this game. Misfortune is always a gamble. These days, I like luck. I know in some of my early videos, I really kind of recommended Misfortune. I think I may have even used the phrase free points. Since the patch, especially, that seems to not be true anymore. So nowadays, I really... Misfortune 2, you can live with Misfortune 2, alright. Misfortune 3 is dangerous. Misfortune 3, Turmoil 3 is, of course, as we've seen, a pretty bad combination. But we will soldier through it. DMX will lead us to victory. I have no doubt. I have faith in DMX. And we're going to get through. We're going to get through this. So, overall, as I said, the ultimate plan is attack Niflheim. We should be able to do that if we can push our Dominion. We do have 6 temple checks now, so our Dominion should be pushing a little bit harder. We have been kind of pushed back in terms of Dominion on some fronts, but not others. Like over here. Over here, our Dominion is actually spreading out against the enemy Dominion over here. Up here, Niflheim is doing a pretty good job of spreading their own Dominion, but they don't really have... They've got their Great Mother, but I think with Blood Summons, I can beat down Niflheim. Rakshasa Warriors and Asrapas will both go a long, long way towards defeating Nifl Giants and Giant Troops. And, of course, once I have those summons online, I will also not be bullied so easily by Utgard. The caveat to that being that Utgard will have Horde of Skeletons active, and their Horde of Skeletons is better than my Horde of Skeletons. I can form communions to spam Horde of Skeletons with Yogini. I can do that. But it's not as efficient as Utgard's, because Seithkonas are a lot cheaper than Yoginis, and a lot more... I mean, they can just form a larger and more effective communion than I can. I can do it. I can do the same trick, it's just not as good. And, of course, I'm going to be churning out Raktapatas mainly. And Raktapatas are honestly not fantastic Sabbath slaves, just because they only have Blood 1. So, if you're casting any spells from any path except Blood, they die quickly. So, tactically speaking, fighting Utgard, still no bueno, if I can avoid it. I would love to make friends with him, which I think I could probably do. Fighting Niflheim, bueno, if I can manage it. They also have Turbo Communion shenanigans, but theirs aren't as good as Utgard, because Gigyos are more expensive. And their communion slaves are... They can't form a like-to-like communion. They have to form turbo communions with Scrati, which is slightly harder because he doesn't have a regeneration bless. So, hopefully can manage that. Once we hit Construction 4, it'll be time to kind of think about my options. Alteration is a really good path for Lanka, because it opens up Mist Form and Cloud Trapeze and Wind Guide and all that kind of stuff. Conjuration... Likewise, a pretty decent path. Vitalas are a good summon, but they require death gems, and of course all the regular death stuff. Blood, of course. I will definitely want Blood. I need to get down to Blood 6 pretty quickly, so that I can start summoning Dakini, because Dakini are hugely, hugely valuable. After that, I will, of course, eventually want to get down to Blood 8 to summon Mandeha and Danavas. Danavas? I don't remember how I pronounce that properly. But we'll see if I live that long. Right now, looks a little bit doubtful, but we'll just kind of see. Anyway, also I like that the nonstop pop got 2 of everything. That's nice. So he randomed the death, so he can cast Soul Vortex and stuff like that late game, or he could just cast, you know, Death 2 spells. He can summon Shades, he could reanimate, he can summon Black Servants. Once I get a little bit further down Conjuration, he'll also be able to summon Revenants, although I really shouldn't need them. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 16. This might be salvageable. I was really concerned, but I think having convinced Utgard to back off and give me 10 turns of breathing room, I think if I play my cards right, I can accomplish something. I'll have to be careful up here, because I'll have to remember that Hobergdorf can be attacked by Niflheim, but I can't attack back. I have to go around this way. And, of course, I have to deal with this throne here. I still don't know what throne that is, but I want it. Probably, it might be the Throne of the Sun. God, you don't know what I would sacrifice to have the Throne of the Sun. The Throne of the Sun would be fucking amazing. Pardon my French. Or it could just be the Throne of Flames. The Throne of Flames would also be pretty good. Like, I would sacrifice something to have the Throne of Flames, too. Dealing with that's going to be a pain in the neck, though. Once I have a big pile of Azrapas built up, and I drop Bloodlust and something on them, then I can do some damage. Oh, that also reminds me, actually, that's the other reason I want to go up Blood to level 4, because it gives me Bloodlust, of course. And so Bloodlust gives increased strength to all my demons, including the Azrapas. Giving +4 strength to Azrapas is hugely valuable. So, because it lets them drain more life. Alright, that's enough maundering. That's enough strategic talk. I'll see y'all in turn 16. Alright, folks, turn 16. We did take Zox with minimal casualties. It wasn't quite as tough as I was afraid. Of course, I did deploy excessive troops just to make sure that would be the case. But my archers did a little bit of damage coming in, and then the Ethereal Chaff pretty much prevented the Wolf Tribe from inflicting any significant damage of their own. After which, of course, the Palankasha just sort of rampaged in and killed everybody. Great. Love it. We lost 3 Ganas. And at Brissia, we lost 1 Atavi infantry, wiping out a little bit of province defense. That's fine. I've been told there is also some province defense in Mapito Cliffs. There's no province defense in Digmore, once again. Completely undefended. So, interesting. I do have a non-aggression pact with Niflheim at the moment, if I recall correctly. Let me double check that, just to make sure I don't do anything evil. Niflheim, where are you at? Cerebral Bush. Possibly I'm losing my mind. Hold up. Yeah, I do have a non-aggression pact with them. So, have to give them warning before we end. Now, we didn't actually... did we actually agree on a time for that non-aggression pact? In fact, we did not. Interesting. So there's no countdown timer on that non-aggression pact. The maximally honorable thing to do would be to say that that's would be to assume that's a non-aggression pact 3. But to be honest, I think that might be a little bit too maximally honorable, especially for this situation. I'm just going to treat it as 1 turn's warning. So I'll warn him at the start of the turn before I invade. You know, just for the sake of it. Like I said, been in contact with Tianchi. May be invading Niflheim along with them at some point. In terms of research, we have hit Blood 3. I do need to get Blood 4, but for right now, I'm actually going to work on construction to maximize the efficiency of my blood economy. My blood economy this turn wasn't great because of that failure chance. The failure chance that you have when you're only Blood 1. The Non-Stop Pop and Gurdia are both site searching. I desperately need to get some gems, since obviously my gold economy is dog shit. It's really bad. I mean, this is a good province. Like, this is a hugely valuable province. High income, really great. I'm actually strongly tempted to build a fort here, even though there's no real reason to have a fort here. Also, the Holy See. I'm actually super tempted to just start reanimating Long Dead right now, because I can summon a king real quick with Conjuration 3. I can revive... Isn't it 3? Gives me Revive King, or is it Enchantment? It's Enchantment 2. With Enchantment 2, I could revive a king, go down and take this province, And 100 income would be huge. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that's important. Okay. Enchantment 2, then Construction 4. Right here, all these guys are blood hunting. That's fine. They can keep blood hunting. As soon as I hit Enchantment 2, which will be in 2 turns, I will revive a king and get some undead for him to lead underwater. I don't think Ganas are amphibious, are they? Yes, they are. They're poor amphibians. Okay, so I can get some Ganas, maybe. I won't have quite enough death gems, so I would have to alchemize for that. But DMX is summoning us Rappas. The non-stop pop is site searching. I'll build a lab and a temple here as quickly as I can, but it's going to have to be tempered by the fact that my income is super, super limited, and I also need to get a fort in Yellow Mountains ASAP. So, you know, pros, cons, pluses, minuses, as they say. We're going to give those guys to Sibragol to hold down the morale penalty. Amarotana will move down there. Sibragol... Actually, I don't think I need to be going south. I need to be going over this way. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to go to war with Niflheim pretty soon, actually. Within a couple of turns. So, we'll work it out. I'm definitely going to take that back and the swamp back. And then I'll kind of figure out, because those will give me like maybe 50 income between them. It's not a whole lot, but it's something, and God knows I need it. I would love to recruit another Raksharaja. I don't quite have the money for that. I'm just recruiting a Raktapata. I could actually recruit a Kalamuka and hope that I get Blood 2, because right now I only actually have 2 Blood 2 mages. So my demon production is sorely limited by that. With Blood 1, the only spells that I can really cast are Summon Rakshasas and Feast of Flesh. I can summon Pragasas, like, okay. But, of course, if I summon 15 Pragasas, that's, 12 Asrapas that I can't summon. So, it is what it is. Or 15 Rakshasas that I can't summon. Yeah, actually, I guess Rakshasas and Pragasas cost exactly the same. It's just that Pragasas, you can do it all at once. Interesting. Hadn't been thinking about that. As I said, I could also be binding Bone Fiends, or, Fiends of Darkness. Fiends of Darkness would be fine. They're not bad, actually. In fact, they're, in some ways, I would say probably they're comparable to Rakshasas. Anyway, right now I'm just researching because I've got to have some research points. Amar is moving to join the Bloodhunting Cadre over here in Cormark. We're revving up our patrolling in Cormark. So we're just patrolling with Markata, led by an Atavi chieftain. We'll have 40 Markata patrolling, may need more than that. And you should actually be reanimating... yeah, reanimate long dead warriors, I guess, if we're going underwater. Yeah, reanimate long dead warriors. The blood hunts will keep us going for a little bit here. And you are not a priest. You are a level 2 priest, so I could have you reanimate as well, albeit it would be horrifically inefficient. If I want to maximize my reanimating, what I do is recruit Kalamukas, actually. Because the main limiter on Lankan reanimation is not gold cost, it's fort turns. So a Kalamuka, being a holy 2, can reanimate more long dead, so if you want to reanimate as Lanka, I feel like it's probably more effective to recruit Kalamuka. Plus, occasionally they'll give you blood 2, which was useful. In fact, I'm tempted to recruit a Kalamuka this turn. Which may sound weird, because I don't think Lankan players use Kalamuka all that often. But... thinking, cogitating, calculating. No, money. I'm super short on money, so I've got to stick with the Raktapatas. Okay, so we'll get a few undead over here. Next turn, in 2 turns, we will summon a king, move him over there. So 4 turns from now, on turn 20, we will take the Holy See. Probably won't be able to take Lake Seaweed immediately. But what I'll do actually is Amarotana will move down there and drop off the Ganas. So I'll be able to use the Ganas that I have. Plus, I've got a few long dead up here. I'll get some more long dead. I don't think I have any more Ganas elsewhere. No, that's all the Ganas I've got. If I can manage to get a hold of some more Death Gems, I'll summon more Ganas, as well as a Mound King. Or I could actually use DMX. But no, it's more worthwhile to have him sitting around either summoning things or researching, one of the two. I don't really want to send him into combat, even though he can fight pretty effectively and cast spells and such. I really don't want him to be wasting his time doing that when he could be summoning or researching. So, that's turn 16. I'll see you all in turn 17. We're starting to kind of claw our way back from the brink a little bit. I think we can accomplish something here. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how long I last in this game. Take care. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's turn 17. I'm sick, and I thought this would be a great time for me to get online and talk a lot, making videos for people. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here. That's my activity. I can't brain right now. So, we retook Mapito Cliffs, wiped out a tiny little bit of province defense and such, no casualties. Our blood hunters found no blood slaves in Cormark. As sometimes happens. Only 3 blood ones blood hunting. Sometimes they're not going to find anything. That is what it is. That's why we're trying to hit construction level 4. DMX is summoning more Asurapas. We summoned our first 3 this turn. We're summoning 3 more the coming turn. We've also got these 4 Ganas that I should probably send with Agnes Tuta. We're gathering up our undead force here to go underwater and take the Holy See. Because it's full of delicious income. It's got money, with a capital M. We also are reanimating Long Dead Warriors with Amarutana the Prophet, and in fact, we're also actually going to have you reanimate Long Dead Warriors. So we're going to be able to, when we get that Mound King summoned next turn, we're going to be able to send a reasonable grip of troops underwater. In fact, I may reanimate 2 Mound Kings. Just because. We did find a Thunder Oak this turn, so our air income is going up. Yay, that's great. The non-stop pop is moving around to keep on site searching. Especially I want him to go over here and site search Yellow Mountains. I didn't quite have the money to build a fort over there. I was going to upgrade this fort, but actually I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move and save the cash so that I can start a fort here next turn, because having that defensive fort on the border will be super valuable. Cibergol here has a small army, a small and not super impressive army. I think I'm actually going to bring him back up this way. So on the one hand, once I build the fort here, I can attack this way into Niflheim if I want to, and on the other hand, he can maybe serve as a little bit of a defensive force. The province defense here is not great. I can recruit independent heavy infantry, which could be valuable to some extent. They have Prot 16 and a shield, which my national troops don't have. They also have light infantry that throw javelins, but I don't really care about those. I'm going to recruit a couple of independent heavy infantry there just for funsies, and we'll see how that goes. In terms of research, my research is still garbage, because I'm really focusing on other things right now. Just doing a little bit of research. I would like to get DMX researching again, but right now, of course, he's my only Asurapa summoner. I could use the non-stop pop for that, but I need him to be site searching. There's just too many things that I need to be doing right at the moment. Gordia is going to move around site searching as well, actually. He's going to go site search up. We'll move him in this direction. So Gordia can go down there to site search. So we've got 3 blood hunters, 2 reanimators. We're moving another reanimator over, carrying a few more long dead, a few more Ganas. My demons, unfortunately, cannot go underwater, but a couple of turns, I should be able to do that. So next turn, we'll summon some Mound Kings, move them over here. So we have this turn, that turn, a third turn as they move over. So 3 turns worth of getting about 10 long dead per turn, and then they'll go underwater and beat up the Tritons and take the Holy See. And if Shinoyama takes the Holy See before I do, I'll be mad as hell. But I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they're... Because right here, they're not recruiting any Kappas or anything. I think... Are Kappas capital only? For Shinoyama. That's not Shinoyama. No, they're not. They can recruit them in any fort. Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd be churning out Kappas here in order to go underwater and take this province, because it's a lot of money. But the thing to keep in mind is he probably doesn't know that it's a lot of money because he doesn't have dominion on this province. So I'm going to take it And hopefully this one's also a lot of money. I don't know. This has no dominion on it, so maybe my dominion will get there? Question mark? I don't know. I have a decent grip of temple checks, but my max dominion is low, so I only have so many holy points. I'm not really gonna... Okay, so I need 600 to start a palisades. Cancel those, actually. You can move out. So, in order to have 600 to start a palisades, I'm recruiting... That Markata Scout is 20. Rock Tapata is 80, so that's 100. 125. Plus all these guys. Count on 200. So, count on losing 400. Count on this only being about 370 income. So I can spend about another 100, I think. And I will spend those other 100 on some Bandar Warriors. 6 Bandar Warriors. Let's make it 5. Nah. I'm gonna be overly cautious. I'm not gonna spend anything. Maybe I might potentially have the gold next turn to recruit another Yogini as well as build the fort. I desperately need to get a lab and temple active here in Winna as well. I just absolutely do not have the funds. I've got to get that started. That will be the next thing. We'll be building the lab and temple and upgrading this fort, and then I'll have to upgrade that fort, put a lab and temple on it. But I really need to get that done because I need to start getting more Rock Tapatas. My biggest limiter on my blood economy right now is Rock Tapata spam. I just don't have enough. And that is, unfortunately, going to keep being the way that is for a little while now. And, of course, DMX, once he summons another 2 grips of Asrapas, will switch back to research to help these guys hit construction level 4. I may not end up going to war by turn 25 or 24. I may just kind of be holding what I got, getting my research done, securing a little bit more income, because taking these independents makes more financial sense than fighting a war with somebody. And then I have to deal with these messes there. I would really like these 2 provinces, but they're not super high income, and they're not worth getting into a great big fight about. Let's sneak him into this province to see if it has province defense. It probably does. And then, yeah, we'll see what we can see. So, thanks for watching. I'm going back to bed. This has been turn 17. I'll see y'all on turn 18.